We are back on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio News Talk 1180. Our in-studio guests, Mark and Cathy Abernathy.
You know, we need to record the in-between stuff because that's really a lot of fun.
That's always the case.
It's too bad people can't hear that part.
And luckily, we never say anything that we can't put on the air.
Well, true.
At least not yet. So, talking about South Carolina, what's going on now? You know, you look at we both like Perry and Gingrich, I think, from our conversations in the past.
But
Yes,
well, who's
well,
we both? Who?
Well, I know we like Perry because we,
That's you.
you know, or at one time liked Perry. You don't like Perry, Glenn?
He's a great guy, but I didn't say he'd be my first choice.
Well, I didn't say it'd be your first choice either.
No, we're grouping them now.
Yes, we're grouping them. Okay.
Well, I'd like anybody, including an empty beer can, over Obama.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you for that. Okay. When we get to the empty beer can, we'll keep that in mind.
Except for maybe Ron Paul. He's a little dangerous.
Well, yeah. I think I'd take the empty beer can over Ron Paul, but that's my own opinion. But, anyways, the rhetoric now. They're coming out with anti-free enterprise comments and stuff. I mean, are we shooting ourselves in the foot with these kind of comments that we're making? It's counterproductive.
I'll give my pitch on that.
Sure.
It irritated me a great deal to have Gingrich, and Perry, and even Santorum to some extent criticizing Romney for his business background and for Bain Capital and capital generation. And the main thing that they would do, they would find that whenever there was a business in trouble that they thought they could save, they would go in there with capital, risk capital, their own, not government money. Mm-hmm. This is not an Obama operation. This was people's own private money to go in there and try to fix that business, streamline it, do whatever is necessary to get that business going and save those jobs. And I don't know what the percentage is, but more than 90% of the time they would be successful. And obviously sometimes they couldn't save it and they'd have to shut it down. Now, is it right to go and criticize them for what they're doing? Say, hey, you saved most of them, but you shut this one down and people lost their jobs. They're terrible on you. Well, it just irritated me, and I think a lot of people, I know there's a lot of reaction came from that.
Well, and Bain made a lot of money for a lot of people. I was reading that a lot of states' pension funds invest with Bain because the returns are so great.
Sure.
So, they are doing the right thing because lots of people benefit. They're obviously a business that's failing. You can sometimes save it, sometimes it's just not right. Now, I wish we had a Bain that could go into the government, do the same thing. You've been doing this for 30 years, it's not working, we're going to change it. Some of you are going to lose your job, but you're going to go out and do something else, or somewhere else in the government, but not keep doing the same thing that's failing. We don't have that in government. That's
the
the
federal
crime.
government is one of those failing businesses. It's losing trillions of dollars every year. And just in the last 10 months, it's lost another $1.5 trillion. I mean, it needs a Bain, doesn't it, to go in there and you'd say, hey, Romney knows how to do that, and we need a Bain to go in there and fix all of what's the inefficiencies and the terrible waste that's going on and get it back on track. So, but there's a good side after praying and meditating on this a little bit. There is a good side to, in my view, to what Gingrich and Perry are doing to attack him on this, because from their standpoint, they're just trying to knock Romney down.
They're trying to win the nomination.
Knock him down so that they have a chance to keep the thing going and not let him sweep it. So that, and also Gingrich, rightly in some ways, needs to punch Romney back for what he did to Gingrich in Iowa. That was unfair, what Romney did to Gingrich in Iowa. And so, all right, he's got his punch back coming. But overall, for the Republican Party and our nominee, it is good because now Romney is facing what Obama's $1 billion in campaign is going to do if Romney's the nominee. What they will do to Romney is exactly what Gingrich and Perry are doing to Romney right now. Let's go through this. Let's get it out on the table now. Let's hash it all out. Let's punch Romney, blood his nose, see if he can beat this off and stand up. And if he does this, then and wins over this, then that issue is pretty much gone.
Yeah, it's going to be old news by the fall, which is when Obama wanted to use it. You know,
Right.
he could have sprung this the October surprise and just punch him every day, like Mark said. So it is healthy. It's better. You know, everybody let it come out now. I don't know what more they're going to get.
But do you see? I mean, I visualize in October all of a sudden a Democratic ad showing Perry saying "vulture capitalist." You know, I mean, you can see it coming
Right,
out.
but won't you see Perry then come right back on
Hopefully,
to defend
Yeah.
Romney then?
Yeah.
If this plays out that way,
Sure.
and Romney's on me,
We saw what McCain did. He came back and supported Romney after all the negatives
sure.
Yeah.
he
That's
said in the last election.
I think the voters are smart enough in the fall when they start seeing the Republican quotes against the Republican nominee, but they're all endorsing him. It doesn't work as well.
yeah.
I tend to disagree with you on that, though. I don't think the voters are smart. Really, I don't. You laugh, Mark, because the majority of the people don't know anything about politics. It's just who's going to give me the most.
Yeah.
And Obama and the Democratic Party are the entitlement party.
Well, you know, using that logic, our in-studio guest, by the way, is Mark and Cathy Abernathy. But using that logic, unfortunately, if you've got $1 billion that Obama is going to have, supposedly, to run this campaign, is there any way the Republican candidate, whoever it is, can overcome that? I mean, that's a heck of a lot of money to spend on
Right, it is,
negative
and
ads.
then they'll have Obama will have the free media because you know
Right.
the Today Show, the Good Morning Americas, the Barbara Walters. They're all going to keep promoting this. You know, in their mind, it's all about nice guy, beautiful family. How can you do this? We look at issues.
Right.
Republicans look at issues, and the media is going to look at who's cool, and in their mind, Obama's cool and Romney's stiff. So it's going to be difficult, but if you look over the last 40, 50 years, the voters have done a pretty good job on president when you look at what their choice was. But the danger is, and that's the whole drive of the Obama administration, is put more and more people getting some piece of the action from the taxpayers. Then they will vote for us, and they will vote for candidates who want higher taxes because they live off of it. That's the same problem in California. The more people they put on it, the more people will vote for it and say, hey, taxes don't bother me. That's why, you know, I and Mark and others are a big advocate of taxing welfare. Because if someone's getting $25,000 in one home, all welfare, and the one next door is working for it, the welfare person should fill the piece of it too, because they're driving on those roads, they're using those schools, they're doing all that. But it makes them say, hey, look how much I lost because the government took.
Sure.
You know, even because they see it as a paycheck of some form, and it's important that people all share in this. So
Everybody should pay some taxes.
Right.
Yeah, it is very bad for our whole democracy and our whole way of life to be able, for some people that don't have to pay taxes. And that percentage, slice of the people that are not paying taxes is growing. And when it gets, we talked about this for years, when that grows and it gets to 50%, that are more than half the people, you know, are not paying, well, we're done for. That's Jefferson told us that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're at
Jefferson-
47% now.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. Now, looking at the election, Ron Paul, he could be kind of a thorn in the Republican side in the long run. Do you think he'll run as an independent? And if he does, would that guarantee Obama's reelection?
No, he won't run as an independent. I'll let Cathy give her.
well, I would say no, and number one reason would be he's got a son who's a United States senator,
okay.
and he doesn't want to go flaming out and ruin both names because his son, good guy, plays by the rules, and so I don't see that happening.
Well, what about our friend Trump?
No, he won't do it either. He doesn't. He doesn't want to be the Ross Perot of history.
I hope not.
But I hope he keeps commenting because he does a good job, and people listen to him, and the media have to listen to him. He does a good job laying out what's wrong with this administration, with this whole agenda of stealing from the rich and keeping everybody else down really low, just enough to say, give me more, but not enough to succeed in life. He does a good job attacking that.
Let me give you an example of stealing from the rich done by the President of the United States. If you recall General Motors, and the preferred stockholders were put behind the union,
Yes.
which was really defeating why anybody would want to invest. If you remember that, I don't know if you remember that, Mark. I'm sure you do.
Sure.
Oh, I remember him going in and, the president went in and changed a CEO of a corporation just by saying, I want him changed. We happen to know that CEO of General Motors, and I hope he writes a book someday because, that's...
Tell it when I'm gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But those are things that haven't been done. And,
in the Obama administration, in most president's cabinets, a good percentage have some private industry business experience. In the Obama administration, only 8% of the people in there have any private industry knowledge or experience.
I think none of the cabinet secretaries.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one, if any.
Yeah. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the state issues as well. So we'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180.